Okay, good day, everyone. This is Glenn speaking from China, and I'm from Career Training Department, and it is time to start today's global training course. And if you have any other question, you can just feel free to interrupt me and ask your question, okay? So today we're going to talk about the installation of the VERSATI. Basically, it is the VERSATI 3. And this presentation divided into these three parts. First is introduce how to install the outdoor unit, which is the heat pump. And then I will introduce how to install the water system. The last part is for the electrical system to do the wireless and for the water system, there is we use this hot water to heating up the water inside. Then you can use the water inside for domestic hot water. And if your country is no requirement for that, actually you don't have to use this VERSATI. It's little bit the efficiency is not that high. And the snow just covered the out unit. And the consequence is that, just like this, you'll find that if the snow cover it, it will also make the heat exchanger to be freezing, just like this. And this will significantly damage the heat transfer efficiency. to consider about the indoor unit and outdoor unit. And so for this case is for the split type. You can find it if the outdoor unit is lower than the indoor unit. There's no special requirement. Just ensure the total length should be less than the requirements is okay. But if the outdoor unit is higher than the indoor unit, at this case, besides you need to follow the requirements of the maximum height drop and the maximum distance. Also for the height, LV 5 to 7 meter, we require an oil check. This is for the oil return. And as for the split type, and for this one, also you can find it. If the outdoor unit is lower than the indoor unit, no oil check requirement. And if the outdoor unit is higher, at that case, also the same LV 5 to 7 meter to set an oil check. And also you need to ensure the total pipeline length is within the range. Otherwise, ensure the system reliability. And for the last part is to charge the refrigerant, which is based on the on-site piping length, which means if the piping length from the outdoor unit to indoor unit is less than 10 meters, there's no need to charge any refrigerant. If it's longer than that, for every meter, we require to charge the refrigerant. And how to do it is first is turn down, so like this. This is the pressure gauge. You need to connect with the water pump. And after that, also you need to change this one to the refrigerant tank to charge the refrigerant. And for the next part is the water system installation. So for this part, I'm going to talk about is this all the water system also belong to this part. And this is the material you may use during the water system installation, including the water filter and two-way valve and three-way valve, especially for the monoblock series. And later I will install Y, and also the bypass valve, especially for the FCU. And also if you have the, you need to install the flow coil, and this is the flow coil performer, also called water check, and also including the pipes and jams, and also the cut-off valve. And the first is to select the water pump. And for the water pump, although we have an inside, but if it is not enough, you also need to add another one. And just follow formula, which is this one. And this is the rated follow rate, which according to the capacity of the outdoor unit. And this is the delta T, is the temperature difference between the water in and out of the heat exchanger. And experimental value is 5 to 7. And also the water pump already consider the pressure of the heat exchanger, and also including the outdoor unit and the indoor unit for that part. And also we also offer you this graph, and this is the water pump graph. You can also check it. the water pump head delivery is 4 meter, which is 40 kPa. And also from this information, we make some correction for it. And this is the correction factor is based on how long to take for a person to take a shower. And basically, we choose this one. It's okay. So this is just for your reference. And then the next is to how to install the water tank. And first is the distance to the indoor unit or to the monoblock outdoor unit. And this is horizontal within 5 meters and vertical within 3 meters. And also when you install the water tank, it is prohibited to install on the suspender, which means required directly on the ground. And also for the inside water pressure, we require is from 0.1 to 0.5 megapascal. And if your local water pressure is less than this, you need to install like this, which is to add a check valve. And if your local water pressure is higher than 0.5 megapascal, also you need to add the regulator to lower the pressure into the water system. And as for the all-in-one, and the first is also we require to install directly on the ground, no suspended. And also on side, and from this graph you can find it, you need to connect the tap water after the cut-off valve and the filter. And this is the soft connection. You can directly connect to this here. And then this is to the domestic hot water for the customer use. And this is for the space heating, which is for the FCU or the floor coil supply hot water. And this is come back from the floor coil or the floor heat or for the FC. The check air, which is from here. There is a check. Here is release valve. And also similar to the water tank, we also you need to ensure the water pressure inside is within this range. And let's attempt it to install check valve, and higher than that, install a regulator. And if you choose the water tank from our grid, and here is the recommended water tank model. And also you can find that there are two coils of it. The main coil is for the VERSATI, and the other one is you can also use another heating device. And as for the FCU selection, and you can also choose the wall mounted or the fan coil and the floor ceiling and the cassette type. And the recommended capacity is 70 to 100% of the outdoor unit capacity. And this is the requirement for the floor coil. And for the floor coil, when you're going to install it, there are two patterns, which is the contour flow or the serpentine. And also we recommend this one. This can ensure the temperature can be evenly. And also you can find it for the pipe inside. It's only 90 bending. For this one, you need to bend 180 degree, which is not that good for the water pipe. And next is for the floor coil reformer, which means if you need to divide the floor coil to different floors from the same oil check, water check, or the floor coil reformer is prohibited because we cannot divide the water flow evenly. So we require to, for this case, and the other one is this floor coil reformer to the indoor unit distance. We recommend to less than 15 meters, and if it is more than 20, you need to reconsider or recalculate the hydrostatic system. And as for the installation, and this is the floor coil reformer, also called water trap or the collector. And from this one, here is the water supply, and here is the water return. So for this one, also we need to install this filter to filter the water quality, to ensure the water quality. And also the water supply should be at the upstream, and also the total distance to the ground should be at least 300 millimeters. And next is the water system, the expansion tank. And this time we call it expansion vessel because it's not that big. And also, as you know, that the purpose of this expansion vessel is to lower the water volume change due to the water temperature change. And on the other hand, it can also prevent the water overflow if too much water just charge into the system. And also another calculation, and also based on this formula, we can get this V, which is the volume of the expansion vessel. And we can also find that the C here is for the total water volume. And after you install the water system, this value you already know it. And this E is the expansion factor of the water. This is based on the water you need to use. So this value also different. You can get it from this table. As for the P1 and P2 is the setting pressure of the expansion vessel. A little bit difficult, right? So we give you an example to how to use this one. And after you just install, just let's assume that after you install the water system, you can get the water volume is 50 liter. And in that case, if you install the expansion vessel is 3 bar of the inside, and then the domestic water can get to 60 degree. So you how to calculate the expansion tank, and also from this similar you can put it, and the value can be this one, 2.28 liter. And also for our VERSATI, inside there already has a expansion vessel, and here is the summary information for you. You can find it for different series, which is the monoblock or the split tank and all in one. There is already has either 2 liter or 3 liter or the 10 liter expansion vessel. And how to adjust the inside preset pressure, you need to use the nature. And also we also provide you these two graphs to do the selection. So they will give you a detailed example to how to do it. And also you need to base on the preset calculation, also need to adjust this one for the best expansion volume. And also for the different expansion vessel, we also provide you this table, and according to the on-site what's the water system installed, and you can choose it whether you need to add another expansion vessel or not. And here is it. The step is first to calculate the PG, just follow this formula, and then according to the graph you can get the max total water volume. And after that, to ensure the actual water volume is less than this max, and otherwise you need to add another expansion vessel. So here is the detailed example, and the case 1 is if you install a 16 kilowatt monoblock, and for that it is for the water system is 5 meter lower than the highest spot of the water system, which means the outdoor unit is 5 meter lower than the highest water system, and the total water volume is 60. And according to this one, you can also find it if less than 60, which is this case. No need to install the preset, no need to adjust the preset pressure. And the case 2 is also the same, 16 kilowatt monoblock, but this time is only 1 meter lower than the highest spot, and the total water volume is 100 liter. So for this one, it's go to this because it's 100, which is higher than 66 liter. And then, which means you need to adjust the inside pressure. And according to this formula, you can get the new PG is 0.4 bar. And Also, you can find it. This H is this 1 meter. And from this graph, you can also find it. And here is the max total volume for the X and the preset pressure of the pressure of the expansion was cell is this one is Y. So you can get it. This is the 0.4 bar. So you can get it is 115 liter, which is higher than 100. Can cover this one. And the next is for the split and all-in-one type. So for this one, and also the formula for the PG is the same. The different also we also make it into the table, and just follow the table, and according to your actual installation, you can choose whether you need to adjust it or not. Also, to show you a detailed example, and this type is a 10 kilowatt split type. The indoor unit is installed 5 meters lower than the highest point of the water system, and the total water volume is 200 liters. And for this one, and according to this table, it belongs to this part. And also less than 230 liters, that means no need to adjust. And for the second case is also the same 10 kilo split type, and indoor unit this type 4.5 meter lower than the highest spot, and also the total water volume is 250 liter. And this type, according to this table, is belong to this part. And which means according to the graph, you need to adjust the pressure, and the target is according to this formula. You can get it is at 0.75 bar, and from this graph you can find it. If it is at 0.75, the total water volume can be up to 325 liters, which can cover this total 250, which means for this is okay. And the last is just to adjust it. And as for the water volume, and also you know that if the water volume is too small, it will making the temperature to fluctuate too much, which means the temperature is not stable. And the countermeasure for it is first to use the buffer tank, and then the second measure is just enlarge the pipeline. And if the water volume inside the water system is too large, that means it will cost the system too much power to heating up the water system, which means for the customer, they will feel that is why it's not cold or not cool, which will make them to wait too long time. And here is the recommend formula, which for the minute water volume, which is according to the rated heating capacity, and this you can get from the outdoor unit. And according to it, you can get the minimum water volume. And the next is to install the water pipeline system. And for this one, and we recommend to use the PPR. And also, this is the process is also very easy. And here is a video for your reference. how to do making the joints. We can find it, and after this is okay. And after you install the water system, the next step is to do the air remove, which is to drain out the air trapped in the water system, and which means for the system, we're just making the water pump to operate. It's okay. So inside it, you need to choose this function, air removal function on the controller. And on the controller, it will ask you which part you need to do the air removal. Air, that means the air conditioner, means the FCU and the flow cord. And the water tank, that means the water tank, which is this part. And the last part is the electrical system installation. And for this, you can find it. It's basically to show how to do the wirings to the split tie. Basically, it is the indoor unit and also the all-in-one indoor unit. As for the monoblock, it's all in the outdoor unit. So this is the wiring diagram. So and here, which is to do the wiring to this part. For split indoor unit, for the all-in-one is on this part. And as for the monoblock, is the most complicated because you need to wire so many wirings divided into two parts. So for the split tie and for this, it is the power supply LN for the single supply, and 1, 2 is for the water tank heater. And as for this XT2 is for the control of the two-way valve and another other thermal. And XT3 is for the thermostat, connect here, and gate control. And also if you need another water pump, just connect the control signal here. And as for the all-in-one, and also similar, and here ST1 is for the power supply, and the ST2 is also ST2 is here, is for the two-way valve and also other thermal control, and the ST3 is for the thermostat, gate control, and also additional water pump control signal. And as for the most complicated, the monoblock and also ST1 for the power supply, and this is for 3 phases, and ST2 only use this 2, which is for the two-way valve and the 3-way valve. And as for the XT3 is for this is for the electrical heater, e-heater control. We have 3 of it, and later I will show you the detail. And this is 21 and 22 is for the other thermal. And as for ST4 is for thermostat and gate control and additional power pump control, water pump control. So, and especially for the monoblock, you need to install the three-way valve. And for the split time and the all-in-one, they are already integrated. No need to install it. So for this one, you need to use this. First is to select which direction is for the water tank and which direction is for the FCU or the flow coils. And you need to follow this requirement on the actual installation, which is the flow A for the flow coil and for FCU, and flow B, which is from here, for the domestic water. As for the two-way valve, and the purpose of it is when you do the air conditioning, and including not decide you to conduct the hot water to the FCU. At the same time, you can also conduct this hot water to the flow coil just by this two-way valve. And of course, when you're doing the cooling, you can also conduct the chill water, which is from the hydro box. They can also flow to the flow coil, but actually we are not recommend to do that because this may generate the condensing water, which will make the floor to be wet and also slippery. And for the installation, according to the two-way valve, which is the normal open or the normal close type, you can also connect it, and also you can choose it from the controller. And the next is the other thermal, and this is the 230 volt, which means when the outdoor ambient temperature is lower than the preset value, we can start up the other thermal to help or to supply the heat for the VERSATI, which means at that time the VERSATI is not that strong or the capacity is not enough. And please pay attention that, and for the other thermal, it's not for all-in-one. For this all-in-one is impossible. And for the split type, we require the engineering customized for the second three-way valve. For this one, which means you need to discuss with our grid to install to another three-way valve. And also for this one, you also need to connect with the optional water temperature to detect the water temperature and to set it when to turn it on. And also the gate control is connected to this 27 and 28. It is 220 volt AC. And for the next is for the e-heater, how to install it. The most easy one is for all-in-one. For this one is already integrated, no need to do the wiring. And the next is the split type. And here I just give you the example for the three phases. So you can find it. And here is for ST1 for the power supply. And after that, and this is the water tank. You need to do the wiring, which is to this one, to connect with the ST4 to get the power. And as for the optional e-heater, we already make it built in, no need to do the wiring. As for the most complicated monoblock, and there's no e-heater inside, so either the optional e-heater or the water tank e-heater, you need to do the wiring yourself. So, and this is the example for the single phases monoblock, and here is the optional repeater 1 and 2 to do the wiring, which is the dry compactor to this ST3. As for the water tank, also to ST3 18 to 20. And besides, don't forget to install the optional water temperature sensor to tell the system when to turn on the optional reheater. And next is the thermostat, which is according to the thermostat to turn on or turn off the VERSATI. And after you connect the wiring, which is connect the thermostat to the VERSATI, also on the controller, you need to choose how to control it. And here the air, that means this thermostat control the air conditioning. And next is the air conditioning plus domestic hot water. For this one is we will use the thermostat to turn on or turn off the VERSATI, and based on the priority is selected, which is how to select it for the hot water. We will turn on and turn off. And next is the remote air temperature sensor, and this is optional. That means you need to install a remote room temperature sensor to detect the room instead of the water temperature to control the room temperature, which is to higher the accuracy. And also you need to select on the control state, which the target is from the water out temperature to this room temperature. And this is the install requirement for this sensor, which means not close to the door and not close to the radiator and also the sunshine, and just 1.5 meter higher. And the last part is if you would like to control the VERSATI with a computer, it is also available. And from this controller, there are two terminals. One is to connect with the either the outdoor unit or the indoor unit, and the other one output is the RS485. And also you can combine these 3 times together. Is also okay, and just like this. After you combine it, you can connect with RS485 converter. And as for this one, if you choose from our grade, we can offer you this too. And you can also buy it from the local market. And we will provide you the protocol, which allow you to connect with the computer, which is the third-party EMS system. This is based on the Modbus to control the VERSATI. And that's all for the VERSATI installation introduction. Do you have any questions?